Some very interesting matchups on this weekend's Major League Soccer slate, but perhaps the most intriguing, DC United and Dallas. Dallas atop the Western Conference, DC United in a dogfight to make the final spot in the Eastern Conference playoff picture. They're chasing Montreal, although they do, the black and red, have a couple games in hand. As far as DC United is concerned, look, they got to win 3 of 4 to clinch that spot. They get 9 out of these final 12 points, they're in. Do you think they can start that against a Dallas team that's pretty good here, Ale?
I think so. And DC United at home has become, dare I say, a dominant team. There is a presence about DC United with Wayne Rooney, your friend, your buddy, yeah, that's it. That's it. Your preferred player, your preferred choice. Well, Wayne Rooney has been key to their success.
The jersey's being printed.
Yes, very much so. And they have become a very tough team to play against there in DC, and they feel like they have all the momentum going for them. I think DC United gets into the playoffs, and part of that is going to be their victory against FC Dallas at home this weekend.
Real quick, Stevie, if they do get into the playoffs, what's their ceiling?
They can win it.
The whole thing?
They can win it. Nobody wants to play DC United and Wayne Rooney. So, yeah, they get in. They can absolutely win it.
Brian?
Yeah, they're on a roll right now, and I agree that nobody really wants to play them. I still think there's some issues in the back where away from home they're struggling, and in the playoffs they're going to have to play, unlike this last weighted schedule, all the home games. But they have the ability to score goals, and when you get into the playoffs, you need to be able to do that. Certainly, like I said, I don't think it's a team that can win the championship this year, but certainly an exciting team to watch.
DC United, FC Dallas, Saturday, 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Big match for the black and red. Big match for FC Dallas as well as they look to win the Western Conference. That's all for us. For all the latest on MLS, keep it right here, ESPNFC.com. MLS season coming down to the wire. Let's check out the Western Conference standings. There's some big matches this weekend as teams look to improve their postseason position. Now, LAFC last weekend clinched their spot, but really the desire here is to get into that top 2 and avoid the 3 through 6 matchups. LAFC will be taking on Houston. Houston already eliminated from postseason contention. Let's start with LAFC. Ale, you know this format very well. How important is it to actually be in that top 2?
Well, for LAFC, I think the idea of them getting into the playoffs is already a successful season. But now you can improve upon that. And the way that you can improve upon that is that if you get that bye, it buys you 4 or 5 extra days where you don't have to worry about playing a game. You don't have to worry about traveling. You don't have to worry about other things that may affect you in the long run in the playoffs. The Western Conference, for me, can be very packed from top to bottom. But getting those extra days may just put you in a path where maybe you can think of a bigger picture once you're in LAFC and once you do the things that you have done during the season.
Stevie, how surprised are you what LAFC has been able to do in their expansion year?
A little surprised that there aren't too many teams. Obviously, Seattle did the same thing, playoffs, incredible season. I didn't expect LAFC to do that at all. I thought the players that they signed, there was too many soft-looking players, can I say? I wasn't sure whether they would last the season as well as they started. But they've absolutely proved me wrong, and Bob's done a great job.
Brian?
Yeah, I think Bob's done a great job. I think John Thorrington, I think the whole club, when they first started out, they had an ideal. They were very focused on trying to play a certain way. And, you know, for Bob to step in, and you know he's going to have a team that's very organized defensively. But to put those pieces together, whether they're soft or very technical players, and a league coming in as an expansion, they've done extremely well. I think if Simon had stayed, they'd actually be someone we'd be talking about further into the playoffs. And unfortunately, now it's reorganizing that defense, but offensively going forward.
What they have done as well is that their presence in the market is a strong one in LA, where it's a cool thing to go to the LAFC match. Whereas with the LA Galaxy, we don't quite know exactly what is going on over there. They've come into LA and made their presence felt in that market. It's not an easy thing to do.
What do you think their ceiling is?
I think it's important for them to get this bye. And I do think that out of the Western Conference, Sporting Kansas City and FC Dallas have been the stronger ones in the season. However, none of those teams really have guys that you say, you know what, this guy can carry us through the playoffs. Carlos Vela gets hot. Maybe it's something that he can do for LAFC.
LAFC Houston then Friday night. For all the latest MLS news, keep it right here, ESPNFC.com. But look into the background of the photo. His teammate, Neymar, who we had lots of questions of, how would he handle Mbappe's rising star? Well, he certainly doesn't look too happy about it here. Julian, a lot of people on social media are talking about this photo. What about in French footballing circles? Is it being made to be a big deal?
No, not really. I mean, I know I've seen the photo. I can tell you as well that apart from that photo, I think they celebrated for a good 15 to 20 minutes after the Lyon win last Sunday. And Neymar was probably the happiest, and him and Mbappe were celebrating like if they were brothers. And I genuinely think that Neymar is really, really happy to be playing with Kylian Mbappe, and Kylian Mbappe is very happy to be playing with Neymar. I don't think there's any jealousy between them two. The issue with Edinson Cavani, we might talk a bit about that later. This one is real, but between Neymar and Mbappe is very much a bromance where those two are very happy to play with each other, and I don't think the joke obviously on social media and even back home is like Neymar left Barcelona because he didn't want to be in Messi's shadow anymore, and he arrives in Paris, and now he could potentially be in Mbappe's shadow, and I get that, but I don't think it's like that in real life at all. I think they're both very, very pleased to play with each other. And just to go back on the positioning of Kylian Mbappe, I mean, the question back home as well is all Thierry Henry moved from being a winger to a centre forward, and we saw what happened to that. In many ways, Cristiano Ronaldo, although stayed quite wide, but ended up being a proper striker. And Kylian Mbappe scored those 4 goals in 13 minutes against Lyon in a central position because him and Neymar, after the sending off of Kipembe and PSG moved into a front two, it was him and Neymar. And I think there's a lot of people in France who believe that his best position at some point will be in the centre. And Antoine Griezmann surely even thinks it as well. So it'll be very interesting in the next few weeks and few months under Thomas Tuchel as well as under Didier Deschamps with the national team to see where Kylian Mbappe is played.
Jules, you mentioned Edinson Cavani. There's a report that's come out. Apparently, they've analyzed all the passing, and Neymar and Mbappe are not passing to the Uruguayan. Is this for real? Is this a real concern? You seem to hint that it is.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's I guess it is a concern. Although, if you look at the profile of those three, of that front three, compared to, for example, the profile of the Liverpool front three, where they all complement each other, they all work really well with each other. Neymar and Mbappe are very similar type of players in their skill sets and their pace and the way they play the game. Edinson Cavani is a completely different style of player. Obviously, he's a striker who scores most of his goals with a one-touch finish, who is in the box and needs a lot of service coming from other players. He doesn't really participate in the league play, in the build-up play, compared to what Mbappe and Neymar can do. So you could see why Mbappe and Neymar get on better on the pitch maybe than Cavani, and why they naturally link up together better than they would do with Cavani. However, I think Thomas Tuchel would need to find a way, if he wants to play that front three together, find a way of getting Cavani a bit more involved in what Mbappe and Neymar do. Otherwise, he will feel far too much isolated, and especially in big games, I don't think that would be very productive for PSG.
Welcome into this edition of Extra Time. Brian McBride, Alejandro Moreno, Stevie Nickel, Seb here with you. I know you guys are missing Dan Thomas, right? You've been missing him a lot this week.
What's he doing?
You know, the guy you... That guy, you don't remember him, Stevie?
Oh
boy.
Yeah. My vacations don't look like that.
You know what? I thought my shoes needed cleaned. I wondered what it was.
Is that a ponytail on the dog? What is that? Is that some sort of...
It's like the man bun, the mun.
The hairy legs, let me tell you.
Yeah, he's got
Is that a velour suit? Is that on?
Man, I gotta give it to him. We're sure that's not photoshopped, right?
sunglasses on the head.
Let's move on to
man.
the matters at hand, shall we? Steve wants to know. Question for Ale.
Who, me?
No, Steve, the guy on
sorry.
Twitter.
Oh.
Yeah.
I thought you meant...
But you may want to know the answer to this question as well.
Right.
Do you think Valverde should be playing Ousmane Dembele more? As a Barcelona fan, it frustrates me that Dembele is not featured every game lately.
It becomes even more frustrating when Barcelona is not getting results, and you're not quite getting a whole lot of performance from Coutinho. It's frustrating for a lot of Barcelona fans as to what's going on with Luis Suarez as well. He's not scoring with the sort of frequency that you expect from them. I just look at Barcelona, and while we can focus on what's going on up top, their issues are in the back. So whether it may be frustrating not to see Dembele out there, if I were a Barcelona fan, I would be more concerned as to what's going with Piqué, with Umtiti, the back line, the whole defending 1v1 situation, tracking back from midfielders is not quite there yet. A lot of what's going on over there affects us to what's going on in the front line as well.
Next question comes from our good friend Damon. These questions always seem to work their way in when I'm hosting Extra Time. Does Wayne Rooney deserve MVP if he heroically leads DC United to the playoffs?
Playoffs?
Brian, you want to take this one?
As much as he is the main reason why they get to the playoffs, people don't look at it, at least I don't measure an MVP by getting a team to just the playoffs. Now, certainly he deserves all the credit for having a great season since coming there, and I think they'll only get better as long as he's there. But yeah, for me, an MVP, it's got to be over the whole of the season, and the team has to be near at the top of their division.
You agree?
Wait a minute. Actually, more importantly, do you agree?
If they get to the final, let's say that they don't win it. Let's say they get to the final.
Oh my gosh.
You give them the MVP.
Well, but you don't wait till then to vote. You know. I think you could make a case.
Hold on. Are you making a case?
You could definitely make a case. What if they get to the
No,
final?
no, no, no. Continue that idea.
Come on.
You can make a case for what?
Spit it out.
You could certainly make the case for Wayne Rooney as MVP.
Hey!
That's close enough. That's close enough, right?
You could also make the case for
Judge!
Joe Acosta's MVP.
That's close enough.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury.
You
That's
rest the
it.
case. The defense.
Yes, the defense rests. We're done here.
The witness has exposed himself as a fraud.
Yes. We're done. Wow, he's throwing himself in the ring.
Perjury. Next question for Steve. Oh no, you were going to say you were going to pile on further, Brian.
Yeah, I just think, what Martinez has done this season, breaking the record, Atlanta at the top. I know he's got Almiron, who's been exceptional also. I just think that it'd be tough not to say he's the MVP of this league.
I like Rooney's candidacy, but Zlatan, you can make a case for him as well.
Yeah, no, hey. The defense already rested.
The defense rested.
This is inadmissible now.
Hey.
Huh? I hate Rooney. I love Rooney. I hate
What's
Rooney.
that sound?
I love Rooney.
It's backpedaling out of the studio. Stevie, for you, Cranberry Juice wants to know, are defenders not given enough credit in today's game?
You okay? You got what you got?
I've got to say,
You got something in your
I
eye?
actually think they do, because there's not that many great defenders around. When they do well, we actually talk about it. And we were talking, we've been talking about it with Varane. Varane's in the list for the Ballon d'Or. And if he won it, I wouldn't have a problem. He's been fantastic. So I think the fact that we're talking about Varane being in the Ballon d'Or awards then says we do talk about defenders when they're good.
I think that idea came from Julien Laurent. He's still with us. Jules, what do you think? Are defenders not given enough credit in the modern game?
No, I agree. I agree with Stevie. I think we do focus a lot naturally about strikers, on people scoring goals or creative players. But I think there's still a lot of love out there for defenders. And like Stevie said, we talked a lot during the World Cup about Varane and to a lesser degree maybe Umtiti. And there's a lot of talk about Sergio Ramos and people like that. I recognise. I would love Varane to get the Ballon d'Or, like I said on the show.
You crossed the line there. You crossed the line there.
How can you mention Ramos in the same breath when we're talking about defenders? Come on.
No.
Come on.
No, in the sense of him being good. I mean, in the sense of him being talked about.
Acceptable.
There's a lot to,
Carry on, Steve.
Thank you for the clarification, Jules. We appreciate that. I think we've run out of questions here.
That's it?
That's it.
One more. Oh.
Wow.
There's one more, but I've been told
There's
to...
only like 4 people saying questions there.
Yeah. I've been
not.
told to leave this one for another day. I don't quite understand it anyway.
You don't understand that question?
No.
Leave which one?
Well, you'll have to find out about it tomorrow. Catch us 7 days a week,
All right,
ESPN Plus.
Okay.
Strange story, this one. Zlatan back to Man United on loan, Stevie Nicol. What's your take about this story?
I think on the face of it, kind of makes some sort of sense. Straight away when I heard it, I thought of the Beckham situation. However, I think you're dealing with a completely different animal in Zlatan. Listen, for me, the reason Zlatan left United is because he wasn't going to play. Is he really going to want to go to United and sit on the bench? Because that's what it would be. So, for that reason alone, I would suggest this won't happen.
That's a good point. I want you to look at some statistics, because in his first season at United he did well, but it was the second season that, I mean, he didn't play that much. He only started once, and it wasn't to be. So I think at 37 he's shown in MLS he's still got goals in him. But if he wasn't playing at United last time around, why is he going to play now?
He's not. He's somebody who, with the quality he has, undoubtedly, he's capable of turning a game on its head with a little bit of magic. So for that reason alone, any coach in the world with any team would love to have that coming off the bench. But again, I go back to my initial thinking. He does not want to be sitting on his backside. And quite frankly, at 37 years of age, you can't be sitting on your backside.
Mark Ogden's piece on ESPN FC is interesting, because he's talking about this being a short-termism of a deal, like 2 months. And he's also talking about Zlatan being the middleman for the players and for Mourinho as well. But is that not just papering over the cracks if it's only for 2 months?
I would suggest that a player who isn't going to start, regardless of the reputation or the personality, is going to carry a lot of weight in the dressing room. You know, people that are listened to in the dressing room are people who are definitely on the field, who are definitely making a difference, who are the ones who will not only make a difference on the field but in the dressing room. He doesn't fit that bill anymore. He did previously, but I just don't think it would work anymore.
And finally, what would it say about MLS if players can go over, play half a season, then leave, play 2 months elsewhere, then go back for a new season? Is it not taking the mickey a little bit?
No, not at all. I think, listen, MLS would love to have quality of the likes of Zlatan around the league. And in fact, I think it's the opposite. If you've got a player who's playing in MLS, who's capable of going and performing and stepping on the field in the Premier League, that can only be good for MLS.
Yeah. But as Stevie said, will Zlatan, if he does go to United, even get game time? Interesting one to follow this one, espnfc.com for more. Going to start the transfer rate with Eric Bailly. Now, Stevie, he was replaced early by Jose Mourinho. Does he have a future at Old Trafford? Could he be on his way to Tottenham?
Does any centre-back have a future at Manchester United? If we get rid of them all, we won't have any. I would suggest that Bailly, of all the centre-backs they have, is probably the best one. So I see absolutely no way that he leaves and goes to Tottenham. So this is absolutely a miss, please.
You're not having that one?
No.
Okay, so
Not at all.
Aaron Ramsey, still no deal. Doesn't look like he will sign with Arsenal. Would Man United make sense for him?
Yes, I think it would. Right now, for me, Manchester United get no goal-scoring threat from the middle of the park whatsoever. If there's one thing you can say about Ramsey, he gives you that. So I think this would make sense for both him and for Manchester United. So, yes.
Do you ever see Christian Eriksen in a Real Madrid jersey?
No, I don't.
Okay.
He's a fantastic player, yes. I just don't see him as that next elite level that you associate with Real Madrid. And there's no way Tottenham let him go anyway, so no.
Adrian Rabiot, for your boys, Liverpool. Do you need him?
Yes, I'm not quite so sure that he fits the dynamic, closing down, chasing down, harrying, getting the ball type of player that it seems like Klopp likes in the middle of the park. Klopp seems to be happy with the three up front, get them the ball and let them get on with it. Rabiot for me is plays at a little slower pace than what I think Klopp wants. So fantastic player, no question. He'd grace any team in the world, but I just don't think he fits in to the way Klopp plays. So that would be a no.
Speaking of fitting into certain systems, Morata leaving Chelsea, does he fit that
seems
system?
inevitable.
Yeah.
No question. If Chelsea want to compete for the Premier League or the Champions League or anything else, then they have to get a centre forward. Morata, I've never seen him so low in confidence as he is right now, and it seems unlikely that it's going to change. I don't think he's going to play. I think Giroud will start ahead of him, so it's inevitable. I think at the end of the day, this guy will leave.
2 for you, 3 misses today. So maybe Ramsey on his way, and maybe Morata on his way out of Chelsea, according to Stevie Nicol.